Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill,
and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWit.
Hi.
Welcome to our show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about Perc tests and what they actually are and why you need to know about them. Before we get into this incredibly, potentially boring subject, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. I promise we'll make it fun.
Okay, good.
Promise.
All right.
It's about poop.
It's about poop.
And poop's always fun.
Oh, everybody loves to talk about poop. Okay. Alyssa asks, if a friend asks for your help in selling his land, do you need a license to do it? Whether or not you'll receive payment for him or a percentage of the sale? Do the laws and regulations for this vary state to state?
Go ahead, Jill.
Great question.
I want to hear your answer to this. I think we're going to have a different answer. And I think it's more fun for me to have a different answer.
Oh. You
we
know
just
what?
sit around and agree with each other all the time. What fun would that be?
Okay, let's cover all the bases here. If I really wanted to cover my butt, I could even go so far as create a separate LLC, technically, where we're both little investors, even though it's only a small little percentage of properties that we're going to do, where we're both owners and I'm just doing all the work. That's how I would easily cover my rear.
Here's what it comes down to: one word. Representation. Are you representing your friend in the purchase and sale of this property? Are you negotiating on their behalf? And here's where we see this a lot in our business. I see it with cars and stuff all the time too. An older person wants to sell a piece of land and they know nothing about the internet at all. So they call their son-in-law, who knows everything, or at least he thinks he does, about selling stuff on the internet. And so the son-in-law gets all the information, puts it on the internet. Is that guy representing the father-in-law? Because that's where you get in trouble. If you represent somebody in the purchase and sale of real estate, you are required to have a license by law. Does it vary from state to state? The details do, but that concept does not vary. What Jill's referring to is make the person a partner in an LLC, and now you're owners. Like Jill and I own a bunch of property together, and I negotiate all the time without talking to her about it, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. That's my workaround.
Yeah. So then, now we're business partners, and we're owners. Neither one of us have a license, by the way, and never will. Mm-hmm. That's a different topic. So you have to ask yourself, are you representing this person in the sale of their property? Mm-hmm. People say to us, well, they used to. Now, since we have the show, they don't ask us anymore. Can't you guys just take my property and roll it into the mix of whatever you have and just sell it for me and I'll pay you?
Right.
No.
Exactly.
That's ridiculously illegal.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that.
I don't either. That's why we created LandPin, by the way, so you can go post the property by yourself.
Right.
And go ahead.
Well, here's the big picture too. Like in the example that you just described, Jack. So someone says, just go sell it for me. Great. I don't want to have to go back and forth to this person. I'm having to go back. Think about this. If you're having to go back and forth to that person because you don't have the ability to make that decision, then you need to make sure you're doing it right.
Now you're a real estate agent.
Yeah. And you don't want to be in that position. I don't want to be in that position. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to call Bob up and say, is this okay if we accept this price? Mm-mm. So...
I get that every state has a Department of Real Estate, and ADRE is the Arizona Department of Real Estate, and I'm on their email list for a lot of reasons. And every single month, I see notices in there of cease and desist notices of people that are operating without a real estate license because of exactly what Alyssa's asking here. Right. If there's any question that this might be happening, just don't do it.
Right.
You don't want to horse around for the workaround is to become a partner. So if the son-in-law and the father-in-law have a house, they could throw the thing in an LLC in 35 seconds. Even if there's a mortgage on it, you can transfer a property. Mm-hmm. Put it in an LLC or put the person who wants to represent it on a deed. You can do that yourself in the county in 5 seconds. You don't even have to go to the county. You can electronically file it. and you're now you're not in trouble.
You know, and I got to tell you, Alyssa, you're not alone, because we've had so many people come to us and ask us to do things like this, or they've asked us to, hey, can I just give you some money and you can, make it bigger for me and all that good stuff. We're just not going to do it. I'm not going to go there, So you don't want to be in that position anyway, especially
Right.
it's your friend. And what if you sell it and they're excited about the sales price today, and then because you did everything right, what we talked about, you flipped it, made a good profit, and now they find out the next guy made an even more profit, right? And now he comes to you because it's your friend and says, hey, you could have got 8,000 for that. You only got me 6, whatever it is. You don't want to be in that position too.
This is a good time to bring up this concept. Everything in real estate is complaint driven everywhere. There are no real estate police. All right. They're not looking at your transaction and auditing you. To my knowledge, there aren't anywhere in the country. What ends up happening in a situation like this is the father-in-law says, please sell my property for 10 grand. The son-in-law sells it for 8 or 10. Mm-hmm. The father-in-law finds out it was worth 150.
Yeah.
And there's a lawsuit.
Right.
And all of a sudden the son-in-law is practicing without a license. Or worse, the buyer who buys the property finds out that it's not usable in the way that they wanted to use it, or they just get some bad news after the deal's done. Mm-hmm. Now everybody's getting sued.
Exactly.
You don't want that.
You don't want to be in that position.
It's not worth it. It's not worth the 5% you're going to make on it or something like that.
The easiest way to do it is, either A, make them a partner and you guys are doing the transaction together, or B, say, you know what, I won't do that, but I'll give you 5,000 for it.
That, or, you could probably do a specific use power of attorney too.
Maybe.
The son-in-law gets a power of attorney, then he's no longer representing the father-in-law.
Oh.
He's able to legally make the decisions.
That's true. And then no one can say anything.
If that wasn't boring enough, listen to this.
That's awesome.
If you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either one of us on landinvestors.com. Today's topic, what is a Perc test or a percolation test?
Just kidding.
Nice pedicure.
Thank you.
Yeah, manicure to match that.
Thank
'Cause
you.
I know that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to do that
talk about
right
Perc
now.
Test.
Yep, doing my nails.
So what's a Perc test? In 30 seconds or less. Everybody really complicates this topic, but what's your definition of a Perc test?
A Perc test is a testing of the soil for absorbency, basically, to allow for a septic system.
That's it.
Thank you.
You take a 5 gallon, you dig a little hole, take a 5 gallon bucket of water, you dump the water in, and does the soil absorb the water, yes or no?
How fast does it go away?
And if it doesn't, it's not going to pass a Perc test.
Right.
If it does, it's going to pass it, and based on how fast it gets absorbed, that will tell you what type of septic system, tank/field, or a combination of both,
Right.
works on that soil.
And so like you can, we were just, you can test it yourself and do a few little things. If you're standing there, if you're standing there and you pick up some of the soil, dig down a little bit, not far, just with your hand, put some soil in your hand. If you can form like a worm or some kind of a shape or something, and it kind of holds together, there's already too much moisture in this soil. It's not going to work, and it's probably going to fail. If it's like, if you can't form it and it's like it's sandy and it just kind of drips through your hand, that's a good indication that it will pass a Perc test because it needs the moisture.
Or if you reach down and there's just a bunch of rocks and it can't absorb and dig anything, that's not good either.
Exactly.
That's a desert. That happens in Arizona a lot. Mm-hmm. So if you're connected to a sewer system, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff.
Yeah, in a big established area.
Right. The waste from the house goes in an urban area. It goes right into the city sewer system to a water treatment facility, and they handle it that way. Mm-hmm. With our product type, it's very Perc tests are important if you're going to build on it.
Mm-hmm. It is. That's very true. Is it something that you want to run out and do on all your properties and have included in your package? No. FYI. But you need to know what it is.
One of the first things that you do when you get a letter back, a signed offer back, we all do. We go on a parcel fact or wherever, type in the APN, and you take a look at the land. And the first thing I look at is what's adjacent to it. Is there a house adjacent to it? Well, that guy just solved all the problems for you.
Bingo.
He solved the water problem. He solved the electrical problem. He solved the sewer problem, the septic sewer / city.
Bingo.
We don't know. Property that has adjacent structures or any version of that is very attractive.
Yep.
Now, if it's in the middle of nowhere, that's a different story. But ironically, there might be more people who want to buy that middle of nowhere, but there's a lot of people on this planet who just want to get lost.
They do.
And want to never get found again.
It's true. It's very true.
And they find us, believe me, and all of our members. They buy property from us every day.
Exactly.
But you got to know what a perk test is.
Because your people might ask. They need to know. You know, can I do this out there? Well, that's something that they'll have to test the ground for, to see if they can build out there based on the perk test.
So what you'll find is that you really honestly don't have to know. I'm going to pull a Jill here. You don't have to know the answers to all these technical questions, easements and perk tests and all that stuff. You can really easily answer a question like I just did. You know, I'm not sure if it passes a perk test, buyer, but the guy next door figured it out.
Yep.
You should call him.
Exactly. That's a good pull in a Jill. Yeah, you don't want to be, that's a good point. You don't want to be spending too much time getting to know all the ins and outs, because if you have a portfolio of 100 properties, this is a lot of time, you know, and sometimes the more you know, the worse it is.
Our staff has mastered answering these questions like this. And in fact, it used to be in all of our postings. I'm not sure, buyer, what you're asking me. I'm not sure. This is the reason that this property is so inexpensive. And we are an air-conditioned office in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I don't know, we've never been there, but this is what we do for a living. We buy cheap property and we sell it real cheap. So I would encourage you to find that out yourself. And here's my phone number, and I'm happy to sign it over to you when you pay.
Exactly.
That's how I answer all these. But
It's true.
if you're going to be if you're getting in this business for good, you really do need to know this stuff.
Just know what it is. You don't have to know that your property is how it's pass or fail, but you just need to know what it is.
One of my jobs in life is to be a boring husband. And so when I talk about technical stuff like this, you know, men think they're impressing women by their knowledge, but they're not. What they're doing is they're boring them to sleep.
That's true.
What women really want to talk about is themselves. So if you say,
or fun stuff.
Jill, you're beautiful. She'll hear that and love that all day, and I'll get whatever I want.
What kind of flowers would you like?
Versus-
what color flowers would you like? We like that.
Versus saying, excuse me, Jill, I'm the master of the perk test.
You
and
look
here's why.
great in those pants.
Aren't you impressed about how much I know about percolation tests?
That's right. Yeah, this is not,
See ya.
this information, you know what? Most of the information from all of our shows should not be topics for dates, ever.
Yeah, never talk about
Don't bring
real
this
estate.
up. Hey, baby, you want to, while we're driving to this restaurant, do you mind if we listen to this podcast together?
Do not.
Don't
do not
ever do that. That'll be your last date with that girl. Oh my gosh.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And on the flip side, if you're a girl and you're telling your guy, hey, you want to check out this podcast I listen to, he's going to wonder a lot about you. You don't want him to know you're this smart. Don't even go there. Yeah.
Right in the beginning, you're right.
Yeah, don't let him know that you're this smart.
Like a couple weeks in, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Jill.
Yeah, don't do that
Just
too.
smile and wave.
Yeah, like, I don't know. What is that? Perk test. Doesn't that mean like perky, how happy they are? Is that a perk test?
Or like, my body parts are perky.
Yeah, that's it. Whether you need a boob job, that's a perk test.
I was wondering how long it took us. About 13 minutes for that to come up. 'Cause when I wrote this title, I'm like,
Perk
what's
test.
a perk test?
All right, let's
That's what-
talk.
Perk test is what you do on a third date.
Perk test. Does that have to do with plastic surgery? No. Good.
Join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
And inspiration, that's me.
to do your version of a perk test.
Woo! We'll use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Oh.
That's some classic stuff.
Somebody had to say it.
Yep.
Yep, we're all thinking
And
it.
you know what? It couldn't be me. It should have been you.
Had to be me. Yep.
Useful and useless information to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and
this was the Cash Flow from Land Show. We're the experts at acquiring property
Of all kinds, not just land,
for half price just so we can flip it for way more.
and really fast. Thanks for listening.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.